You can be social media rich and revenue poor. If or when, depending upon how confident and cocky you are, what would success look like for you? So if I fill out this funnel, the money is going to magically drip down at the end of that funnel. I'm just waiting for someone to tell me what to do so I can check the boxes and the money will miraculously appear. My sweet spot is I help people to get more clients. I help them to sell more to their existing clients, and I help them to increase their flow of referrals. They may not be the person you thought they were. All money is not good money. I'm the expert. I'm like, daggone right. You are the expert.
Welcome to Spotlight Voices. My name is Natalia Nicholson, and I come to you with our amazing speakers from the top 100 most powerful Black Women Summit taking place October 20th to October 25th. So today I have with me the amazing Dr. Donna Bellinger. So I'm not going to do the big introduction because I'm going to pass it over to Donna. Donna, I would love, Dr. Donna, should I say? Let me have some respect and manners. I would love it if you could introduce yourself to our audience and just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Natalia. I am so excited to be a part of this event. It is so important to have events of this type. And I know that the women who are going to be attending this summit, you've got 100 voices to choose from. Make sure you're going to be in the rooms that are going to get you to where you want to be. That being said, if you are not generating the revenue that you need to generate within your business, I want you to come and visit me and spend a little bit of time with me, because sales is my natural language. That being said, I am not a boardroom baby. I started out as a homeless teenage mother, and I moved my way through very non-traditional ways of advancing myself, advancing my skill set, getting noticed, delivering results. And I learned that you must be able to listen to your prospects' ideas and not force feed them yours. Frequently, when we are moving out of the corporate arena and into becoming a business owner, we bring that baggage with us, that corporate jargon, and I was the boss, so, or maybe I wasn't the boss, but now I'm the boss, and finger shaking. You have to let that stuff go. That is not going to get you paid. That is not going to get you paid. You must be able to.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And one of the things that I've noticed that you say a lot actually, and I wanted to ask about, was the stop selling and start solving. What does that mean, just like in like practice for a small or scaling business?
Well, what it means is your prospect, your ideal client, is coming to you because they have a pain, a challenge, whether it's in their health, in their career, in their business. Don't move directly into the features and benefits of your business. That is something that people have a tendency to do. It's like, oh, we have the best ingredients. You know, it's picked by little fairies on top of a mountaintop, or, you know, whatever else it is that, you know, you've been trained. But that's not it. So here's the way that you kind of do that. What is your challenge? This is my challenge. Great. How long have you had it? I've had it for 3 months, 6 months, 22 years, whatever. What have you already tried? That's key. Because if they say, I attend webinars and I listen to videos and I read books, as opposed to saying, I have hired experts, I have hired coaches, I have invested.
Yeah, that really hits home for me as well, because I think as well, a lot of us don't understand the importance of investing in ourselves still, as much as it's a taboo question. You know, do you invest in yourself? And you'll always hear it as more like kind of a salesy line, but the reality is that you don't invest in yourself, you're not going to learn. It's as simple as that.
So when we move into solving and serving, you have to get those questions answered, plus one other very important one. What would success look like for you in this engagement?
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
You need to have that in their language,
I
not whatever it
absolutely
is
love
you
that.
think it should be. Yeah, it has to be in their language because you may need to manage their expectations, or
Mm.
they may not be the person you thought they were. All money is not good money.
Now that's the truth. I'm always telling my clients as well, you've got the right to pick your customers. You don't have to put up with bad customers or customers that don't serve you. It's your business. Actually, you can carve out who it is you want to serve.
Here's the litmus test. Here's a thing for determining whether or not this person is a good client for you. At the conclusion of the transaction or the service or whatever it is, will you be able to deliver a result that that person will rave about and refer people to you
Oh,
on?
yeah, because if you can't, it's dangerous territory, especially in this day and age where people can leave reviews. The internet and smartphones have opened up. Everything has got transparency to it to a point. So you're right. If you can't actually deliver the results that actually your end user wants, leave it alone. Yeah.
Just walk away. Just walk away. And these are some of the little things that I will be talking about in my talk. I'll also be talking about 4 types of no sales calls that you can do to
I
get you
love it.
engaged
My
with
next
people.
question was actually going to say to the audience, like, what is it that your masterclass is going to be about? So, what can you give us from that that you can tell us now without giving away too much for the on the
Without
actual
giving
day?
away too much. Okay, I have a term that I trademarked, and that, you know what? Talk about investing in your business. Trademark your intellectual property.
Mm.
Trademark your intellect. You have a special process, you have a secret sauce. Name it, claim it, trademark it. Mine is yes testimonials. A yes testimonial is, I'm going to give you the recipe for it, but you get more in my master class. But here's the deal. You start with what brought you to me in the first place? What was the challenge? Then, what was the transition? What was the transition that occurred while we were working together? Okay, and then quantify the result. What was the result you received at the end of the engagement? If you go to my LinkedIn page, you will see over 40 LinkedIn recommendations, and the majority of them you will see in testimonial format, which means that last line is what I call the money line. So that when someone glances over it, you know, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be, yeah, yeah, scroll, scroll. They're going to see things like helped me to improve my closing rate, helped me to win an award, helped me to 10x my earning on my job. You know, you're going to see the money line. What was the result that I delivered for them? Whether, especially for those of you who are just getting started, whether you charged them for it or not, somebody told you you were brilliant at what you're doing. You have done it for people, whether you got paid for it or not. Some of you are
Mm.
just learning how to ask for money. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has a first step. But you want them to give you the before, the during, and the after. Those are your testimonials. And
Um,
trust me, that's more important than likes, because as a friend of mine says, you can be social media rich and revenue poor.
yeah, I think there's a big misconception about social media, though. I was literally talking about this yesterday. There's a lot of people that still think that posting organically is going to get them visibility to turn leads, to turn awareness into sales, to monetize a channel. And there's a lot of noise on the internet about how you can use social media to monetize your business without paying. But the reality is, social media is actually an extension of your brand. People go there when they're actually checking you out and they're possibly ready to work with you to see if you are who you say you are. So it's an awareness tool, it's an extension of your brand. People go there to back up what they're thinking or what they're feeling or to research you or look at you. And I think that's the misconception of social media. So you're totally right. Followers, likes, and engagement to a degree has got an element of vanity. They're vanity metrics, I always say to people. But we've got to understand that social media is key because it will help you close, but you can't solely use it by itself to monetize and absolutely do nothing else. So I couldn't agree more. But Dr.
You're
Donna, can I
completely
ask,
right.
is someone was at the beginning of their journey when it comes to the testimonials, which I absolutely love. I think I'm stealing that terminology, by the way. Where do you start if you don't have that proof of work yet?
Well, like I said, you start with people that you already know,
Mm,
that you have delivered a result for. Start with them. Somebody told you were brilliant at what you're doing.
yeah.
Get it from them. You may have been the person who did projects that you have based your business on while you were in corporate. Get those recommendations, people who were on your team, people that you supported, places perhaps that you spoke at. I did workshops for my company for this event or that event. You know,
Mm.
pull your results. You know, when you do a resume, they don't want to hear all of the minutia. I know Word, Access, Excel, PowerPoint, this code, that code. They don't care. Here's what they want to know. What kind of project have you led, completed? Did it move the needle? Did it solve a problem? What was the problem you solved? And that's what you have to focus everything on. The other thing, and I can't say this enough, is let people hear your voice. You know, a university engaged with me recently because one of their people found me on LinkedIn, went into my YouTube channel, and I swear she told me, I went through a year of your content and I like the way you present your solutions. And I knew that's what the people needed to hear. And I'm like, thank you. You know, so
Yeah.
remember that you don't need to be a pale imitation of somebody else's idea of success. Don't try and be a copy. You know, we got one Beyonce,
Mm.
we got one Taylor Swift, you know, those are like the originals, and then we've got all the knockoffs. Okay. And you are not going to pay the same money for a knockoff as you would for the original. So quit trying to be an imitation of what someone else does. That being said, own your value, consistently communicate your competence, your value in every conversation that you have. You know, I live by that. And I teach that to my clients. Confidence is your greatest value proposition. When I wrote my first book, which was called You Lost Me at Hello, Actionable Principles That Move You Beyond Networking. The first chapter, I clearly stated, not everyone is going to like you, and you really don't want them to because it's too time consuming. It is too time consuming to try and be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
All you want are the people for whom you can provide a stellar result. That's enough. And do you know why? Because you do not want your business to be a job that you own. The
Mm.
purpose of your business is to serve you. If you're going to kill yourself, then go back into corporate, go back into wherever you were. Just go and do that. So you know that every 2 weeks or every month or however, you're going to have a little chink chink drop
That paycheck.
and then that's it. And then when you punch out, you're done and you know, do that. But if you have the entrepreneurial mindset, the business mindset that you can do bigger, better, faster, stronger, and with less stress, then that's what you're looking for. That's how your business serves you. And frequently we forget that. We also sometimes forget that we have to protect our time, just like we
Yeah.
protect our money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Time is
you
the
have,
one thing you can't get back.
no, you can't. And so, when I was still working with kids at home, I had a rule when I was in my office and the door was closed, because I was probably on the phone trying to do things. The rule was only come to the door if there's blood. If there's
Just so you
not
know,
blood,
I'm going to tell my children this. Thank you.
okay, no, only if there's blood. That's it. Other than that, I'll straighten everything out when I come back out. But no, because there are things that you all want. Yes, yes, mom. Okay. I have to make the money to be able to pay for those things. Yes, yes. All right. If you're interrupting me, I can't make the money, which means the next time you say, but mom, it ain't but X number. That's their favorite thing. It ain't but.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm definitely taking your advice on that one. Also, it's funny, just to go back a little bit of when we were speaking, it's funny, doing this summit meant that over the summer I've had more than 150 calls. And the great thing about that is that I've been able to connect with some phenomenal women, including yourself. And it's funny from what you're saying. If you said to me, what's the one thing of you would you say was a challenge for most of the women that you spoke to? Or what was what was the thing that kept coming up? And it's funny, Dr. Donna, the thing that kept coming up, sorry, was the fact that they all hated sales.
Yeah.
Seriously, in different
Mhm.
ways. It's like, I just don't like the putting myself out there. I feel like I should be selling because if people want to buy from me, they would understand what I'm selling and my authenticity. I shouldn't have to sell. I just hate selling. It feels like begging. I could keep going on. That would be the one thing that I noticed from all the women that I spoke about. So, how do you kind of like reframe that? Because every business is going to need sales to be able to become profitable and to be able to grow. You can't quite avoid it. And I don't know why we look at sales like it's something that we don't want to do and we go out of our way to try and avoid it. The social media thing. Does that make any sense? The
No,
new
you're making absolute perfect sense. So here's the deal. We've been in sales since the crib. You knew who to smile for and who to cry for. All right. You've always been in sales. What has happened is somewhere along the line, you let somebody hurt your feelings and instill fear into you, fear of
Mm.
rejection, fear of success. You've just got this fear thing. Now, one of the things I can tell you about that fear is, first of all, who are you hanging out with? They talk about the people who are in your circle. Who are you hanging out with? Because I had to move. I just moved 30 miles away from the group that I was hanging out with. We would go to the clubs and we would do this and do that. And they were not trying to grow. I was trying to grow. So when I would come back and I would talk about, oh, rough day at work, or this man said this to me, or whatever, I would get the pity party. Oh, you're right. It is so hard. Oh, you're right. This is going on and that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You don't need
You
that.
don't need to be hearing that.
You don't need that. It's like when I had cancer, I didn't tell, I told one person, one cousin about the diagnosis. I didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell my children
Wow.
because I didn't want them hovering.
Okay.
I
I get
didn't want
that.
that energy. And that cousin was my prayer warrior. My daughter's still angry with me about that.
I could kind of imagine Dr. Donna, but I get it at the same time what you're saying
But
about
you
vibration.
don't want that energy.
Yeah, you don't. State of mind is anything, and someone can come and put their vibration can change your state of mind, which can shift where you're going and what the outcome of where you are. I understand what you're saying about vibrations and
So when
energy.
you have this fear of sales, what are you really afraid of? Are you
Mm.
afraid somebody's going to tell you no? You've been told no before, and the world kept turning. Okay. Um, are you afraid they won't pay your rate? Guess what? If they
Mm.
don't pay you, they're going to pay somebody else. because they're going to
True.
get that problem solved. Okay? The women who will be in my room are women who are interested in breaking through that. It is nothing but a self-imposed barrier.
Yeah, it
So the
is. It
women
is. You're
who
right.
are brave enough to get past that S word. And I had a woman say, I don't like sales, so why would I take a course on sales?
And I hear that a lot as well. And I always
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
remind people that sales is actually a part of marketing. People like to separate the two. Does that make sense? Like social media is different. It's a form of selling, but we don't treat it as selling because it's social. But you're right, direct sales is always going to exist in business and it's always going to be a part of the marketing mix. Facts.
Not only that, but you are limiting yourself because, I mean, okay, 1995. Yeah, we'll push a button on that all day long. Okay, it's only, 29.95. We'll push a button on that. Tell me you want $10,000 for your service. Tell me you're worth 15, 20, $40,000. You have to have a conversation with me
Yeah.
so that I understand your proof of concept.
Yeah.
I need to know what your successes were. If you think you're going to get into 6 and 7 figure revenue by hiding behind your social media, sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Everything needs to be done, but it needs to follow a journey and a flow, and you can't avoid sales. And that's one of the things that even for me, I can honestly say that even as I grow within my business, sales is the one area that I know that as I grow, even the summit and speaking to people, it's somewhere that I know that I have to build on my skills with. Like for me, if I wasn't the host or organizer, I can honestly, genuinely say a lot of the masterclasses that I will be watching are around sales because our businesses are so heavily reliant on it. You can't go from startup to growth, from growth to scale without sales. And I think there's a bit of ego for some of us as well, Dr. Donna, if I have to be honest with you. There is the fear of rejection, yes, but there's also and I have heard it this summer. Well, I don't feel like I should have to beg. Selling is not begging. And I think when you're having genuine conversations, it won't even feel like sales if you know what you're doing. Yeah?
Okay, so the person who sold you designer shoes, did they have to beg you to come and do that?
No, they did not. I
Okay.
freely gave them my money.
That is, this is
Yeah.
they do tons and tons of marketing. And then when you walk into the salon, you have people standing there ready to have the conversation with you,
Yes, you do.
assure you that this is the right investment to meet your need. That's basically all they're doing. They are demonstrating
Mhm.
that this is the safe investment, whether it's a pair of shoes, whether it's an automobile, whether it's a home, an outfit, a gown, whatever. They are showing you that this is the wise decision. Why is it the wise decision? Well, it's been on the runway, or it's been here, it's been there. Concept. You must be able to, as I said before, communicate the value of establishing a relationship with you so that you can help them meet their need. You can solve their problem or their pain. That's
And
all
you
it is.
That's all it is. And you do speak a lot about the client's language. Can we just delve into that a little bit more, just about messaging? Because messaging is so key, even in what I do with marketing. There are some businesses that I've had, Dr. Donna, that's taken me so long to get off the ground purely because of messaging. I'm saying one thing, my audience isn't understanding what I'm saying. And I'm thinking my audience understands the messaging I'm using. Actually, I can even give everybody an example. I never forget a couple of years ago when someone said to me, you know what, I would have actually done this program a lot sooner. But when you keep saying the side hustle thing, it offended me because I don't consider my business to be a side hustle. And at that point, that's where we were branding ourselves a lot around side hustles. A lot of our audience are women that are coming from corporate and starting their own business. But I know you also speak about messaging as well. So I would love for our listeners just to hear about this and all what we're talking about now. If you want to delve in a bit deeper and get a structured framework and really be able to understand and learn, okay, how am I going to implement sales process and automation into my business, please make sure that you check Dr. Donna's masterclass out. But Dr. Donna, messaging.
Messaging. Okay. I mentioned up near the top of the conversation that this is not your logic that counts. You're the expert. You are the expert. And I have a client that whenever we're going through things and she's like, okay, yeah, I know I need to follow up. I'm like, yes, you need to follow up because you are who? And she'll sit up. I'm the expert. I'm like, daggone right. You are the expert. You have to remember that you have a gift. So now it's a matter of doing the diagnosis. And we talked about that. So you want them to tell you how they view this particular challenge. I start almost every call with, what made you decide to share this time with me? What was it that struck you? I don't go straight into a pitch. It's like, why did you choose to have this conversation with me? Oh, because I heard you say this. I read an article where you communicated this. I had questions about terrific. Now I have the tone, the framework for the conversation. And you go then into if or when, depending upon how confident and cocky you are, when we solve this problem, what would success look like for you?
That's a big question.
It's a
For a lot of
huge
people.
question.
It's a big,
But
big
here's the
question for a lot of
deal.
people.
Listen to how they frame it. Are they using pictures? Are they using numbers? Are they not giving you complete answers? So you need to ask a little bit more. You know, you may have someone and they say, well, because I need to make more money. Okay, I appreciate that. You're not making the revenue that you want. You want to make more money so that you can what? Well, so I can have not have to worry about the end of the month every single month. Okay, great. So we have you level set at the end of every month so that you can what? Keep asking until you get to the crux of that
So
challenge.
really, we're digging and digging deeper to find out the pain points. That
You have to get the real pain point.
right.
The real pain point. And then when you case in point, I had a gentleman I was working with and I said, okay, so what do you want to do? How does it work? He says, well, I need to, make money. Okay, great. You need to make money for what? Tell me what money will mean for you when you get to the level that you want. He says, well, I'll be able to take care of my parents. I can put the kids through college. I can pay off my house. I can take a couple of trips. Great. Bink, it's done. What do you want to create beyond that? And he sat back and looked at me. I was like, yeah, you're not going to drop dead when this happens. So what else do you want to create in your life? You have to get them to articulate and see the bigger picture. Why?
So
Because
actually, it's about even asking the client questions so you can understand what messaging they use rather than making assumptions. Because one of the problems is we often make an awful lot of assumptions.
we
And
fit them into the way that we communicate, but this is the deal. When they feel heard, when they feel understood, when they know that you're picking up what they're putting down, this moves it from a one-time transaction to a relationship.
mm,
And you don't want to be forever hunting, forever looking for that next opportunity. You want, and this is what I tell people when I speak, my sweet spot is I help people to get more clients. I help them to sell more to their existing clients, and I help them to increase their flow of referrals. So that's what you're looking to do.
which means you're helping them ultimately to increase income as well from all angles. Even I take away from that because when you're in the seat of being the CEO, it's so easy to forget all these things that we're speaking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what was easy for you may not be easy for them.
Yeah.
And for most of us, what we're going to be doing is knowledge transfer. We're going to be teaching them a new way of doing something that they've been doing unsuccessfully up
For
to
a
this
long
point.
time, or even a lifetime for some people.
And so that's why they came to you. What they were trying to do wasn't working. There must be a better answer. Yes, there is. What? I'm the expert. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what success looks like. Tell me what you've done so far to try and address it. Okay, do you all see how this kind of flows? It's just a simple process.
It's funny, it's a simple process, but it's a process that many of us, including myself, don't follow. And I'm starting to learn the older that I get, the simple things that we understand, we understand concepts, we understand frameworks. I think anybody listening, you all know what Dr. Donna means and what she's saying. We've all got a full understanding of it. Some will say, well, I knew a lot of that. Well, it might not have been that useful. I get that sometimes, by the way, Dr. Donna. And I always say, well, if you know all of this already and it's not useful, are you actually doing what you're meant to be doing? And then there's just silence and quietness. And that's just the point. These things sound really simple. They sound like, yeah, I get it. I really must do that. But it's just easy to fall back into old habits of, oh, I hate sales. Oh, the fear creeping in. If not the
That is an
fear.
employee mindset. That's an employee mindset. I'm just waiting for someone to tell me what to do so I can check the boxes and the money will miraculously appear. So if I fill out this funnel, the money is going to magically drip down at the end of that funnel. If I have this particular easy button or this particular thing, the money is going to magically appear on my doorstep. No, you may get some success, but it may not be, because I'm not going to step on anybody's toes. It may not be scalable.
Yeah, that's what happens most of the time, though. Most cases, that's exactly what happens. It's a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean when I say it's transactional.
Yeah. And the thing is, even I do it. You said that, and that one hit home. I do look at sales as being transactional, and actually it's not. I know that, but do you see, ladies, how easy it is to fall back into the blueprint of how we think and feel about sales? It's a cycle that you've got to try and beat and get out of. And if you are in that cycle and you're not actually selling, you don't like selling, you think that you don't think that selling is applicable to your business. That's another one that I hear as well. You really do need to check out Dr. Donna Bellinger's masterclass. It's really important. I can honestly say that when I look back at my business career, actually, Dr. Donna, I would say that my business didn't start taking off and I didn't start making serious money until actually I mastered sales. And mastering sales, actually, now that I think about it, it's a lot of the things that you're speaking about today. The confidence piece, the messaging, the asking questions. It shouldn't even be considered selling. It's about having conversations and making that human connection. And yes, a lot of us do know this stuff, but it's the core element of our business that's actually going to get us ahead, whether you like it or not. And you've got to figure out your own flow and find your own love with it. And if there's anybody that's going to be able to help you do this, it is Dr. Donna. So please do make sure that you check the schedule out. If you've got your tickets, if you haven't got your tickets, there's a link in the bio. Please make sure you got tickets to the event, and just make sure you check the schedule out, and please make sure that you check out Dr. Donna's masterclass, because I feel like it's one that everybody needs. We do have to all sell, whether we like it or not, and if we don't like it, we need to find our love for it, because it's literally the framework of our business. Dr. Donna, any last words you'd like to say to everybody? And I'm sure the next time they're going to be seeing you is on your masterclass, but any words of wisdom to offer our audience?
Well, I will say this. Some of you, depending upon your background, created this marvelous business plan. All right, so you've got all of these pages of documents. I got a business plan. My business is going to be a success. A business plan without an action plan, without implementation, is just a wish list.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. So don't think, because I teach this at a collegiate level, don't think that that's what the deal is, because it is not. You must be of service and be able to deliver to your prospect their idea of success and ask them what's next so that you stay in the conversation and you are their safe investment.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. That's really, really powerful, actually. Oh, Dr. Donna, it's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like you've given me loads of words of wisdom. I feel like even just, there's a lot of advice that you gave that actually even I know, but I'm not doing it or not implementing it, because it's very easy to say, yeah, I know. Make assumptions or feel that there's something more important to do. But you brought me back to grassroots in this podcast with you today at the importance of selling and having that automation and having a system, because actually that's when I started to become really successful and achieve the things that I wanted to achieve, when I had that process put into place. And sometimes even when you're experienced at it, you can forget it. So you gave me a great refresher today. I hope our listeners enjoyed that. And like I said, if there's any one topic that you need to understand in your business, it is the whole framework of selling and the automation and your business. There's so much facets to it. You heard Dr. Donna speak about it. It's not just sales that she looks at, it's the whole process of what it entailed. And I think that's the misconception. Sometimes we think it's like a cold call, you just pick up and you start selling, or you need a script. It's a lot deeper and bigger than that. And like I said, it's the main function of any business to really get us ahead and be successful. So please do make sure that you check out the masterclass. It's going to be live, so you'll get to ask Dr. Donna questions on there. You'll be able to get your replies back. So please do make sure that you check it out. Link to the tickets are in the chat. Also, links to Dr. Donna's bios will also be in the chat as well. So please make sure you check out her LinkedIn. And it's YouTube as well, isn't it, Dr. Donna? You've got content on, a lot of content on as well.
Yes.
Perfect.
I have content on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Come find me.
So make sure you go and find Dr. Donna Bellinger. Dr. Donna, it was been an absolute pleasure having you here with me today. It's really funny. You always bring about this calmness within me. And I love it. Like sometimes I can be kind of a bit up here and erratic. There's a calmness that you've got where you just bring it right down. You've got a really soothing voice and you bring that reality back into play of, okay, come back to where you need to be. This is what you need to do. You've just got this powerful aura about you that enables you to be able to, I don't know, like virtually, literally take my hand, take someone's hand and lead them to what they need to do. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much as well. It's a pleasure to be of service.
Lovely. Ladies, that's another episode of Spotlight Voices. Like I said, check the links out in the bio and I will see you on the next episode.